for you to learn, or be amused. My crazy story of being cheated on. Hi, I made a couple of posts about my current love life that I deleted. I was cheated on 10 years ago and I wanted to vent a little and let it be a lesson so similar things won't happen to y'all. It's long, but maybe you can read a little every day as chapters lol. You'll see I was very stupid, and I can see that as I type it all. Most of you will read it and think I was an actual idiot to let it all happen the way it happened. I was in love. I kind of thought that only happened to people that was weird and twisted. Maybe I thought that only proof of her, another dude, was real cheating. I was also lost on money problems and my mother's sickness, and I guess at some point I was in some deep denial, and after that even just amused to see what would happen next, just waiting for a real reason to leave. Some of you might believe me because maybe you felt similar things. I married a girl I met when I was 14, she was 15. Through several years she tried to be my girlfriend and I wasn't quite sure, and we met from time to time to catch up. When I was 26 we met again and I decided that I wanted to give it a try. We started dating. She was my very first girlfriend and we married when I was 30. I loved her and I was committed to the relationship. I never thought either of us could cheat. I was never jealous and I always believed what she told me until I worked at home and she worked as social worker. She had a car. She used to come home at 11 and one day she got home like 4 hours later. She never called me, said her phone had no power and she got lost in traffic, and that was it. I don't remember she handling it like it was a big deal. I had been worried that she had been involved on some accident or something. That I was relieved when she got home. I wasn't a partygoer type and she had expressed her wish to go out drinking and dancing, so I thought maybe she had gone to some bar with her work friends or something, and I thought that was the worst that could have happened. 2. The very next day I am sleeping at our bed and she's on another room. Her cell phone vibrates and I see a message that says "Have a nice day" from Dr. Omar. When she enters the room I tell her Dr. Omar said hi and she starts telling me that he works with her, and that's where I start to worry. Kind of. Facebook was starting to be popular and I look him up, and when I see his picture I think that if my wife cheated on me with him, she would be crazy. I even tell her and she laughs and we brush it off. 3. You will think I am very stupid, but when this happened, I became worried, but I rather took it as a weird reason to play Sherlock Holmes, thinking I wouldn't really find anything. I installed a software to record what was typed on the house computer I know, but I could only see what was typed, not where or if the other person replied. With the software, I find my wife has an email account I didn't know about, and she uses it to get chain emails from this guy. I access the account but I only find jokes and lame motivational messages forwarded to her. This was back when people forwarded PowerPoint files. The worst was a mail about women wearing dresses and the file asks "What's your favorite?" He replied the nurse costume. Back then cell phones didn't have so many security features as now, but they also didn't store so many messages or have social media on them. I get the DR's phone to see if he makes calls to the house or whatever. One night I decide to call him from my cell phone, just to, I dunno, wake him up and bother him. I say nothing. Next day, when my wife returns from work, she is angry and tells me I embarrassed her in front of many coworkers because the doctor said that someone called him late at night, and when he shows them the number she sees it's mine. I actually thought that she could have just said nothing, right? But she says she told him all it was my number. She's very angry, but then I told her, "Oh, I called him because I saw you have an email account just to write to him." Then she changes her attitude completely and starts acting submissive. Later I asked her in front of how many coworkers this happened and she says he just told me, no one else was there. By no, you know how stupid I was, but I still just thought she had made that account to be rebellious. I couldn't believe she zero-debanged that dude or anything. Around this time, she crashed her car and had to wear a neckpiece and stay home. I don't remember how I knew, but she called him one day I left the house. She said she called him to ask her about health issues regarding the accident. I told her, "You work with many other doctors and your mother is a nurse." I know. I started going to her work to pick her up at random times and I ran into the doctor a couple of times. He seemed terrified of me, but still, I couldn't believe there was something else to their relationship. At her work she had another young coworker who I knew. Once she was on vacation and the guy had an accident. She wanted to go to her job to give him some paperwork he needed, and I told her that it'd look weird to people since she wasn't her girlfriend or wife and she had asked to be on vacation, and then she went running to her workplace to see that dude. The agreement we made was that I'd give him the paperwork, not at her job but at a halfway point. When I got back home she told me she told her mom about the situation and that her mom agreed with me that she should have gone herself. Regarding this dude, I never saw messages or anything. At some point there was an office party that she told me only workers could attend, but later on she told me I could go with her. During that party she danced a lot with that dude, and they were even kind of gone for some time when I was stuck with some talkative dude. I never thought much of it until other things happened. By now you must think I was an idiot. Well, I discovered she sent a picture of her to yet another guy, this time a guy she knew from school. This time I confronted her. She did the thing where they ask you how much you know what to tell you. First she though ID just found the pic and told me it was for you until I told her I knew she sent it to some dude also. You must realize she was stupid too to keep using the same computer. This time we did argue, but it was around the time she crashed. I wanted to leave but she grabbed me and I didn't want to push her and injure her, so we ended up at the FLLOR doing some pathetic thing where I wanted to leave and she didn't let me. When she trusted ID's stay and got away from me, I left. But I came back and somehow the routine made me stay. I still somehow thought she had just sent a picture, not actually banged a guy. That's where she gaslighted me with I've been feeling ignored, and I even started trying to be more romantic and take her out more often. During all this I become more and more obsessed about seeing what's going on. I started showing by her job at unexpected times. I kept watching the computer register. I bought a digital recorder that I didn't even use. 7. Once I thought I read some email where she told some dude from school she'd meet him. I even told her around those days but she denied it. She didn't get mad or defensive, which made me doubt. 7. By that time my main concern was that I wasn't making enough money. We were trying to have a baby, we were on treatment with one doctor, then another. That also messed with my mind. How could I be cheated with someone who wanted to have my baby? Once she came home with some flower arrangement and she told me she won it on a raffle. The flowers didn't look a lot like something a lover would give as a gift, but I didn't believe the story. On the pod I found a card that said for your desk with the name of the flower shop. I called saying that a friend had been given a nice arrangement from their shop and I wanted to know he model. I said they were sent to my wife's name. They told me that they did send them to her, but obviously when I asked if they know who sent them they didn't tell me. When we were on fertility treatment we changed doctor, from a female doctor to a male doctor friend of hers. We went to a building with many offices on it. The flower shop that sent her the flowers was on that building. She told me that she'd take a thanatology course on Saturdays. She'd never been interested on improving her skills, so I thought that was a nice thing. I used to go with her before the class started. I don't remember having walked into the actual place where the class happened. I left her with the car and I went back home. She even suggested once that my dad could be interested on attending the class. He didn't want to, but now I think maybe she just said that to dupe me or something. When the course was near its end I noticed she took more attention into her appearance. Once she even wore some corset thing that made her look slimmer, which I found odd. My main problem these days is that I didn't have enough money for the rent, for the fertility treatment, and my dentist told me I'd have to get an expensive treatment, so I switched from freelancing to an office job, which made me unhappy at first. Her mom used to travel a lot with her retirement money and sometimes she invited us, but I didn't feel like going sometimes because I didn't like her mom paying for things. I also thought that being a little apart would help us, so she traveled to some state. She came back, showed me pictures and stuff. Then, she said the thanatology course would have a celebration for its ending, but that it'd be on the very same place she had just visited with her mom. That was so unbelievable. I think at this moment I just was waiting for some real proof to end it all. I even took her to the airport where no one else was. They'd meet her there, she said. I came back to the house and I was just depressed. I logged into her email again and saw nothing. There was a moment where I thought maybe I was just being paranoid and that everything'd be alright. Then I hit refresh. I found messages to yet another dude, planning the trip. He lived there or something. She sent her money she took the time to take from her employment's account. I searched the house and found the receipt with his name. I searched the computer's file and I found her speaking of having had with someone the week she traveled with her mom and sister. I texted her say hi to dude's name. No reply. The next day she called me and sounded nervous. Tried to ask me what I knew. I found that very maddening since she just asked to make a story up. When she saw I knew everything she got mad and started saying, well, he does love me and will treat me better and stuff like that. That was on Saturday. On Sunday she called asking for forgiveness and stuff, but I didn't care anymore. I said I wanted to divorce and she couldn't make me change my mind. She said she'd go to the house on Monday when I was at the office to take her stuff out, and I think in this aspect having now an office job helped me. Maybe if I had to see her I would have changed my mind or fell into routine like the time before. She did take her stuff out and wasn't there when I got home. One day she even made one of her girlfriends I knew call her saying it was a friend from her job. Why would they call it an hour? She was at work then. And I recognized her voice but didn't say nothing. She talked about how nervous she was and that she had been with her in the trip, but I didn't believe it. I found the effort laughable. Weeks later I met her at the divorce office and signed. Then we both went to have breakfast holding hands. WTF. She said that she agreed to the divorce because she thought it was my way of getting my anger out. She thought we would remarry later or something. I said goodbye. BTW. Sometime after the divorce I learned she had a baby with a guy she'd met before we divorced. I've never felt bad about losing her. Feel free to voice your opinion or ask me stuff.